What's up guys, Houndish here, and today, Season of Opulence is finally launched in Destiny 2, and of course we've got a bit of ground to cover this week, with a full season reset, new DLC quests, the activities, and of course, hopefully, some pretty juicy rewards. So we'll cover getting into the new DLC content via the invitation, we'll also touch on some new vendor weapons, some of the pinnacle weapons and changes, as well as the new Eververse stuff this season, and pretty much everything else in the weekly refresh as well. Now, before we go any further, we do have some pretty interesting news that is kind of breaking alongside the update today. So on top of the new DLC, the fact that we have reveals later on this week, there are a couple of early kind of data mines that people are definitely going to talk about. So spoiler alert, I'll timestamp down below if you don't want to know any of this information about upcoming content later this year, but Giovanno over on Reddit posted a bunch of images from the game files, and we can actually see Destiny 2 Shadowkeep. The next chapter in Destiny 2's experience arrives this fall, as terrifying shadows descend upon a forgotten moon, return to the lunar surface, journey deep into a mysterious enemy citadel, and become a slayer of nightmares, available for pre-purchase today. It also says that physical collector's edition details are available at Bungie's store, and for now this is all we know, but this is coming from the game files as you can see right here, and of course news outlets are starting to cover this, and Bungie have put this into the game in preparation for the reveal on Thursday. So we don't know any more for now, all we could do is speculate, and of course we do have more reveals later on this week, so that's one thing. But before we break down any more Season of Opulence content, it also looks like we are going to be getting the bad JUJU return in some form as well, and we can see that from an exotic catalyst icon right here. So probably going to be a quest. I'll keep you posted on any details about it as we get them. In addition to this, we do see some of the new exotics that we're going to get in the DLC. This includes weapons like the Taraba, which is a new exotic SMG for the raid. It comes with Ravenous Beast, a new intrinsic perk. This weapon stores power when dealing or receiving damage, and once full, hold reload to unleash the beast. It also has extended barrel, armor-piercing rounds, a perk called Bottomless Appetite where dealing continuous damage extends the duration of Ravenous Beast, and hand-laid stock. And that's just a preview of one of the weapons that we're going to get in this DLC, and of course I'll keep you posted with other stuff. So yeah, be sure to hit subscribe. Otherwise, let's get into the reset content. So on the direct tab for this week, as always, we have our challenges, if the thing would stop disappearing, and it looks like the flashpoint is going to be over on Nessus, which absolutely makes sense. But of course, we also will have a notification and some stuff to go visit the vendor for new quests and access to the Menagerie and stuff like that. So when you spawn into the annex at the bottom, Benedict, I believe, is over on the left-hand side right here, and this is where you actually go say hi to him, he'll say some stuff, and of course give you the Imperial Summons quest, but you will need to finish this quest to access some of the DLC content, and of course that includes the new raid. Should also mention at this point that the Pursuits tab has moved to the Directory as well, so we can see right here exactly what all of that looks like, and bounties and things like that will be stored here as well, so do bear that in mind. Of course, in terms of powerful rewards, that will include Hawthorne, and she's actually got some of the kind of standard clan bounties and some updated ones right here for powerful gear and XP and stuff like that. In the tower, we do have some updated vendors and stuff like that, so Banshee has some new bounties right here with kind of different weapon requirements, and these can give mod components, enhancement cores and things like that. There are daily ones, but also some weekly ones, which still give one enhancement core, but a random mod and some planetary materials, and even Infamy as well as Valor rank points right there on that weekly bounty as well, so pretty interesting stuff. You will find that Shaxx and Zavala have their updated inventories for this season, so we've got a new emblem at Shaxx right there, as well as a couple of new shaders. You can check these out in the game, but this will also be the pinnacle weapon quest for the Revoker sniper rifle this season available at Shaxx. And then of course there is Zavala as well. Hasn't been updated with another weapon. Bungie did talk about some of the weapons that the vendors have that'll be updated a little bit later on, but here you can get the quest for the new grenade launcher, the Wendigo, and of course if you visit the Drifter, he'll have the quest for the Gambit bow, which of course is the Hush bow. As always with a new season, you'll be called over to Eververse, and we've got some bounties and stuff like that, and of course this inventory has actually been updated, so we can see some of the kind of weekly offerings for silver and things like that right here. Many of these do require silver, but there are different kind of tabs that you can check out, you know, some seasonal stuff. Apparently there's some Bright Dust stuff at the bottom here as well, and that also includes a bunch of the new loot for this season. So we can see some of the stuff that's visible in the store right now, so pretty cool mirror emote right there. We've got some other vehicles. This is a very strange looking thing right here, this new Sparrow, the Motherlode. God knows what that thing is. We've got new pieces of armor, and of course this is a Warlock class piece of armor for the Eververse set this season. some Geomax Stabilizer ornaments. Thankfully, we can preview these now. They look pretty funky. And a new ornament right here for one of the weapons that we'll get. The Mida Mini Tool, the updated version for this season. So that's pretty cool. And we even have, you know, stuff from previous seasons. And then the Crown of Sorrow projection. Spoiler alert. But that's a pretty interesting looking one right there. Of course, you can check out all of the other stuff available this season. Even the Amethyst Vial. An interesting, very black shader. And what is this thing? A Transmat effect. The Dark Blade effects. That thing is pretty cool. So yeah, that is the Eververse stuff, for a brief overview at least, for this season. And you can inspect that and all of the changes in-game. Now, we should mention the launch for Crown of Sorrow as well. So the raid is going to start at 4 PM Pacific time. That's later on today. And of course, that will be midnight over here in the UK. We've got a few hours to go. Some of the powerful gear, of course, will be pretty useful. You probably know what you're doing if you're power leveling for that stuff. And much like the other DLC content, you do need to complete the Imperial Summons quest. It's also worth mentioning that Scourge of the Past and the Last Wish raid are currently disabled, but they will be activated once again when the Crown of Sorrow raid is cleared. So good luck if you are grinding for that and you want to get it clear this week or in the first day. Once again, the race starting later on at 4 PM PDT, and that is midnight here in the UK. I should add here as well that Bungie have posted patch notes today, and for the update we did see a few highlights, including changes to Jotun, and this results in overall around about a 5% increase in damage in PvE content, a buff to Merciless where the damage of the first bullet at the slowest charge time increases by 30%, which decreases as the weapon reaches its fastest charge time, and then damage at the fastest charge time is actually unchanged, so a pretty good buff to Merciless, and an overall damage increase of 4% for Telesto, and that's in all content as far as we know. On top of this, we have additional changes, including Gemini Jester, increased duration of Disorient, and no radar effects by 0.5 seconds, and the Aeon Gauntlets, the potency of energy given by Aeon Arms increased for all classes. Titans now trigger Aeon Arms off of melee kills instead of Barricade, and they receive melee energy, and visual effects on the gauntlets have been altered for all classes to distinguish between a player whose energy is full or not. So a potentially pretty decent buff to the Aeon Gauntlets there as well. But if you want more details on those patch notes, they will be linked in the description below. Otherwise, then on the Director, we've got stuff like our Nightfalls for this week. We do have a Garden World, the Corrupted, and the Arms Dealer showing up right there. If we move over to the Crucible, I nearly went to Gambit. Move over to the Crucible, the featured playlist is going to be Mayhem this week if you fancy jumping in. But otherwise, that pretty much sums up most of the stuff on the Director. Now though, if you're jumping into Escalation Protocol this week, maybe you're still on the hunt for some of the weapons, we do have Cathok as the boss, so the SMG is going to be dropping this week, and you get a random chance at that whenever you take the boss down. In the Dreaming City though, we are on week 3, or the full curse, so the Shattered Throne has returned. That's another source for powerful gear, of course. But on top of this, we have the Ascendant Challenge, and that is over in the Keep of Owned Edges, which you can find in Harbinger's Seclude. I will run some gameplay of that from my friend Jarv, with just a little bit of gameplay of the Ascendant Challenge if you need any direction for that. But otherwise, I think we've covered most of the stuff that we need to today. I'll be keeping you posted on new rewards, the Menagerie, how all of that works, exotics, quests, and everything, as always, on the channel. So once again, be sure to hit subscribe if you want to keep up to date. But if you have enjoyed the video, a rating really helps me out. Let us know what you're most excited for in the Opulence DLC. But otherwise, guys, have fun with the new content, and I will catch you all very soon.